Hey everyone, this is Old, and I wanted to welcome you to a new series that I'm doing on the AvP mapping tools. I'm going to be showing you how to make your own map in AvP Classic 2000 from start to finish with all the details that you'll need to know. So the first thing you're going to want to do is grab the official Fox tools, the AvP Gold tools, which you can find at this URL on ModDB here. This is going to contain all of the official tools, including the official level editor called Intang, as well as the source code, which you probably won't be using, but it's there anyway. And the second thing you'll need is the editing tools. Now this is going to contain all of the things that are supplementary, that aren't official, the most important of which is Fast File Explorer over here. So once you've installed AvP Gold, because you're going to need the official AvP Gold for this, as well as the Gold tools here. Once you have that installed, it should automatically extract all the graphics files and sound files. If it doesn't, then you're going to need to run a program called FFextract, which is just an exe program there. An earlier version of the Fox tools contained that program, but it should automatically set things up in the right place. Okay, what you're going to want to do is obviously create your level. So I was going to assume that you have created a level, and it doesn't matter what file format it is. What we're going to be using is 3D Studio Max R3, version 3 or 3.1. That's this program here, and that's contained in this file over here. I believe there's a version 3 and maybe version 3.3 or 3.1. I'm going to be using 3.1. Doesn't matter. The reason why you need version 3 and you can't use a newer version is because the plugins that convert to the file type that AvP Classic reads, the plugins were only created for version 3. I think version 2 as well, but we're going to use this one for 3. So you can't use like 3ds Max 2010 or anything newer than version 3. So, okay. Let's say you built a map in a different map making software, Hammer or Unreal Ed or GZ DoomBuilder. Let's say you built a map. Now you're going to need to get it into the file type .3ds, and if you don't have it in .3ds, you're going to need a program that can convert it to that. Now a very useful program, in my opinion, is Spin3D Mesh Converter. And the reason why it's so useful is because it can convert from a wavefront.obj, an OBJ file, to 3ds. It can also convert from STL to that as well. So you're going to need to get it in that format. Now, what 3D Studio Max actually can import is obviously 3ds. These are the file types that it can import, and I have been able to work with STLs and MD3s too. But since this is an older program, you're going to need it probably in .3ds format. So anyway, what I've done is I've taken an example riff that was in an early version of the Fox tools for a tutorial that was never created, and we're going to be turning that into a functioning level. So let's say you've built it. You can even build it in 3D Studio Max. But once you've got your map created, we load it up here. This is what our map is. It's quite small. It's nothing fancy. You're going to need to do two things once your map is essentially created. You're going to need to create a box by going to Objects here on this toolbar at the top here, and just anywhere you can create a box. I'm going to just stick this right here. Now, it should be proportionate to the appropriate height of the player, because what we're going to be doing is, this is called a Hudson, H-U-D-S-O-N, enter. And the dimensions need to be 1 by 1 by 2. Now, this one in particular, I know needs to be this particular set of dimensions, but it doesn't have to be this specific at all. And later on, you can adjust the size of this thing anyway. But it's good to get it approximately correct at first. This is going to be the player width and height. So the proportion should be 1 by 1 by 2. You can even set it 1 by 1 by 2 if you want, but it just needs, this one in particular needs to be like this, and then right in the center of it, actually anywhere you can put this. We go to helpers, we go to dummy object, instead of dummy or one, we're going to type in NUCLEUS, enter. That's our nucleus. That is the reference point for where Intang is going to set the camera for when you load it into Intang. So we're going to go to File, Export. Instead of .3ds, we're going to go to .riff. You're going to have to place the plugins, the riff plugins, which come with the official Fox tools, into the plugins folder for this, obviously. And then we're just going to type in example.rif. RIF stands for Rebellion Image File or something like that. That's a proprietary Rebellion file. You're not going to see in any other game except for this. And then just leave everything blank. Augmented merge, just leave like that, because that's what you do when you overwrite, and it doesn't change anything. Now for us right here, conveniently this map is already split up into modules. Now if you make your own map, very likely this is not going to be in modules yet, and then you'll have to split those. We're going to go into detail on that later, but for right now this is just trying to get the map to work in AvP Classic as quickly as possible. Okay, so we just have exported it correctly. So in the meshes, we're going to see example riff. Okay, now we can copy this over to our AvP Classic custom folder, but we're not going to be able to. Well, I can show you what it's going to look like if you just hop in. So that might be worth doing. Okay, so let's say you just want to, you're all excited and you want to hop in your level. Uh-oh. We have a problem. Okay, so it's pitch black. You have no lights set up. What is going on? Looks all weird. No, what we're actually seeing is that we're in one module at a time. None of these modules are connected, and obviously nothing's lit either. So we're going to go over here. Okay, so this is Intang. If you right-click on Riff, open with, and find Intang in your AvP, in the Fox folder, in the Tools folder, you'll have to set it to open with Intang, and then probably change the resolution in the INI files. Once you've done that, so we're over here, right? Okay, so what we basically just saw is that we were located in one of these geometric units, one of these boxes. A module is basically just a box, right? It's usually a cube or a rectangular prism that you're in. Now we were just in individual ones, and none of them were linked together. There's just a very easy way to quickly get them linked, which is to go to our module, our a little slower here, mode, module linking, environment. And this is going to be, this is very, very convenient for automatically linking modules together. I don't know why it said that one, but as you can see over here, let's say we are in this module, I pressed S. This is everything that is viewable, right? So essentially, this is connecting everything, assuming, and it automatically senses what you should be able to see. Now, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to get the job done decently well enough. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we're going to want to light this. So in lighting mode, go over here, and again, we're just doing a preliminary thing just so we can run around the map and get a feel for things. You press D in lighting mode to drop a light or set a drop light. And just for convenience sake, we go over here. This is the period key and the comma will allow you to change options like this. You go to Omni. That sets it to omnidirectional, and runtime makes it so that the light actually lights up your HUD view model, like the pulse rifle and all that stuff. Okay, so now that we have this just set right in the middle here, we can change the range to, this is 40 meters by default. You can change it to something like 80. This is a small map. Then you use the mouse mode, save intensities for game, and now we're going to try again. So we go here. Load up example. And ta-da, now you can see the map, right? Got a staircase. So now it looks like an actual thing, right? I can see the map. You can crawl up in here. Now, interestingly enough, because we set the module links, you wouldn't know it from over here because you don't have the perspective, you can't see it. But because of the way we've done the module links, even if you could see through walls, you wouldn't be able to see down there. That's what the module linking did. It only lets you see the modules that are visible. You could set it so that you can see every single module on the map. That would cause the game to lag, especially on larger maps, and probably crash. Now what you can see over here, a very small detail, you can see that at the far end there, we can see that the Intang automatically did not link that far module. You can see it pop out here. That's a black space at the far end on the right. When you go in, it is suddenly visible. So you're going to have to run through your map. If you've already split it up into modules, you're going to have to run through the map in Intang and probably in AvP Classic as well, and make sure that you can see everything at one time, because you're going to want to be able to make it so that if a player is standing over here and there's an enemy at the far end on the right, that you can see that enemy. All right, so that is the first step in creating the map. As you can see, there are no sounds, there are no textures, but we got the size right. And this is cool. The HUD is lit up. Right? Now we're an alien, so a certain part over here, this is a lighting. This is not a lighting glitch, but it's just a factor with the game engine, which is that if this module is not connected to one that has a light, then with that no pre-lighting setting, then it's not going to be lit. So you're going to have to make sure you have the lights set up over here so that the HUD is always lit in a logical way. Now we've popped in and we're connected to a module that has a drop light, which is right over there. Okay, so this is just the first stage. So this is the first step in creating a map. Next, what we're going to be doing is texturing the map. So we're going to go into all the details of texturing, and also I'm going to go through what it is going to be like if you do not have your map already split up into modules. So I'll see you there in the next video. All right, I decided to tack on this part to this video here in case your map is not split up into modules, which very likely it will not be. Now, again, a module is just a box. Typically, it's just considered a room, but in this one in particular, the modules are much smaller than single rooms. They're basically just everything you can consider a cube or a rectangular prism in this map. So let's say you're over here and you can't do any module linking because your map is just one big module, right? You can check if you go to, in the regular mode, find object. We just have everything built as like a base or module 1, right? So let's say we want to split this up into modules. So what we would do is we go to mode, texture map. We have no textures, so everything is just going to show up either purple or white. And let's start with the easiest way to build out a new module. We'll do this. You select these faces here. This looks like a good cube. Gonna go to miscellaneous split as module, then exit, and then we're gonna give it a name. Say that don't recenter. And now what we've done is now we have this as its own module, right in the center of this big mass over here. So we've selected the different faces. Again, miscellaneous split object as module, enter module 3. Give it a logical name. Doesn't have to be a module and then a number, but that can be helpful. I'm just going to do this for a few of these. 1 to 4. Using the numpad keys to move yourself, by the way. We're just doing this to show off this feature of creating modules in Intang itself. And these modules are basically just objects, what 3D Studio Max would consider objects. Okay, we're approaching the staircase here. Let's say we want to give this one, well, this could be its own module. Let's say we want to give it a little bit of, maybe combine a little bit of geometry here. So this whole thing doesn't have to be just a cube. It can be like this. It can be irregularly shaped. Okay, now let's say we want to do module 10 and include the staircase. All right, so let's go through the stairs, selecting all of these. Just be careful. You're going to grab every polygon in that group. You're going to want to get them all. And then, well, this could be its own module. Let's give it, again, a little bit of height. We're going to select these and the ceiling and these ones off to the side and the top step right over here. Okay, so this is its own guy right over here, its own module here. So this is going to be module 10. We could just name it staircase if we wanted to. We can do that too, as well. Modules are very important for pathing, especially if you're going to have an alien spawn point, which is the purpose of this upper tunnel over here. So let me just grab this real fast and I'll talk briefly about the purpose of that. Again, we're splitting this as a module right over here. In AvP, you're not allowed to actually see any spawn generators. You cannot see the module. In fact, I believe you cannot even see the module before the module where the spawn point is. So let's say we're having a spawn generator in this last one. You should not be able to see, well, first of all, this one, but you should not be able to see this too. That's why this has been split up this way. But anyway, you would just go through this. Okay, this is just going to be the last one I do just for the purposes of this demonstration here. Okay, so now when you select all these, it's not this one gigantic mass, right? This still is, because this is all one unit. I haven't split this up yet, but that's what it's gonna. This is what it's gonna look like in the interim, right? Okay, so now let's say we're gonna want to manually link things, right? You can auto link the environment, which should get things working, but let's say we want to do it by hand. So we're over here. What can you see, right? So you click the module that you've split up. You press S on it to set it. So like you clicked it. Let's click it. It's purple. Let's say we're setting this one as our base, or as the one we want to look out and see. Okay, so let's say we're over here, right? Now obviously you need to be able to see all this, so we're gonna press N as a new link, N for this. We're probably gonna want to be able to see here too, right? Because if you're standing right over here, you should be able to peer over in here, and maybe even this too. So we're gonna set it like that. Now let's say about this one. You gotta do this for each individual one. Obviously I haven't split this up entirely, but you get the idea, right? So we're going to see this, and you should be able to see this, 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 and this. You don't have any need to see anything over here if you're standing in here, right? And then again, over here, press S, N, and it turns yellow, obviously, just so that you can see it. And if you want to see that, sure. And over here, and maybe you don't need to see this stuff over here if you're standing in here, right? You're going to need to check that, right? Probably, if you're standing on the corner here, you can see through this, right? And then over here, obviously, you know, what you can see is going to change based on the position, right? This is going to save on memory. This is going to make it so that the map doesn't lag, especially if your map is very complex and it has lots and lots of different modules and lots of things in the modules, and modules that are very, very dense and have a lot of complex geometry in them, right? This is a very simple map, so it's not going to hitch even if you can see everything at once, but that's the idea. So this is basic module linking stuff. All right, so next time we're going to get into texturing the map. So I'll see you there.